What's going on, guys? Brandon out here working on the van. Wanted to make a quick video here. I'm going to cover a lot of random topics in this video. It's going to talk about Harlan Charles. I think his firing might be a staged event where the Corvette community all writes in letters to Mark Royce and all these guys, and they end up bringing him back, and then it's this big announcement for the Grand Sport. I think it might have to do with the Grand Sport announcement, why they fired him. Because it's just really bad timing to fire him right before the Grand Sport announcement. And like I said, Grand Sport announcement's coming. So nobody told me that. I think that they they wanted to see what we would all do. It's a long story, but that's what my gut says on that. Okay, so next topic. We're going to talk about investments, and we're going to talk about why there's something really bizarre going on right now with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin. So there's a website called coinglass.com, okay? And what CoinGlass does is it shows you the balances of all the exchanges and how much coins they have in them. And it just changed. So I got to, let me see here. Well, let me show you here in real time what's going on with this chart. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So I've zoomed into this chart, and shows the Bitcoin price in yellow, and in the bottom in the green it shows the Bitcoin supply and all the exchanges combined. You'll see right at the your right, you'll see a spike up of green. So that's the first spike up of Bitcoin supply in a long time, and I think that was to throw everybody, because just before the spike up there was actually a sharp spike down. Okay, so you see the spike down just before the spike up, okay? And so I think that spike down caused them to, and when I say them, the billionaires of the world, they went ahead and dumped in some Bitcoin into Coinbase, okay? And they used the Satoshi Nakamoto accounts to do so. Now yesterday, Coinbase, actually not even yesterday, an hour ago, Coinbase showed huge deposit, but now it shows a little bit of withdrawal. So 7,000 Bitcoin withdrawal, but before it was showing like a 60,000 deposit or something crazy. I've got the screenshots of it. Meanwhile, Kraken also showed a huge withdrawal. Now the withdrawal that Kraken underwent was literally like a third of their supply. So they were like at 90,000, if I'm not mistaken, and they got withdrawn down into the 50s. So they lost like almost half of their Bitcoin. So basically, in simple terms, what it looked like happened, and I don't have the balance sheets, just applying common sense, it looks like someone like attacked Kraken by buying Bitcoin using the Kraken exchange, then transferring that Bitcoin to Coinbase accounts, okay? You see what I'm saying? So Coinbase, and then selling it to the Coinbase exchange. Okay, so buying it from Kraken, selling it to Coinbase is basically what it comes down to. Now, if you own Coinbase and you know that Bitcoin's about to fly, that's to your advantage. You want to be holding all the Bitcoin right before Bitcoin flies, because you're going to make a bunch of money on that Bitcoin that you just bought. So this week has negative news like Trump tariffs, GM's getting investigated about their motors, blah, 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 blah. You'll start to see that Supermicro Computer, which is yet another company, they're the ones who create the cooling for the NVIDIA chips. You'll start to see that the SMCI, which is that stock ticker, Supermicro, they've been having really good news, starting to have good news. So they were down in like $27, $25 range earlier in the week. They're up to like 33, 34 bucks now, because they've started ramping up production. And they're the ones who conveniently didn't show their financials for like the last couple quarters, right? So, and then they're like supposedly under investigation, all this other shit. So let me pull up real quick the so this is SPY, and SPY is the proxy for options trading for the S&P 500. So it's one of the highest volume option trading things around. as far as, okay, so there's the SPY chart. You'll see there's a big dip today down to like 602, okay? And obviously I wish I would have bought calls right there at that 602 dip, but I thought maybe it would go a little bit lower because I believe that overnight tonight and tomorrow, S&P 500 is going to retest all-time highs, okay? And it's a perfect time to do it because they have everybody's kind of betting against the market. They want the masses to bet against the market, okay? So let me show you something here. So if we go to the daily chart for the S&P 500, so each one of these candles is now a daily, you'll see the ascending wedge, okay? So tomorrow, if S&P 500 doesn't break out to the downside, tomorrow S&P 500 is going to continue up. However, I think in the morning they might do a false breakout and down it goes, and then that'll cause people to go heavy into puts. And that's why I didn't buy calls today, is because I said they've got to have a false breakout to the downside, in my opinion. And once they do that false breakout to the downside and get everybody to go into puts, that's when they're going to come out with the news that the tariffs are resolved. And Kraken, this is what I think is also coming, Kraken is out of Bitcoin. So let me show you the exchange. Let me show you the screenshots here that I took because I had a feeling that would vanish over time. Okay, so these are screenshots. So here's a heavy zoom in. You see the big green candle, that's supply coming in to the exchanges. Again, here's another screenshot. You'll see supply is coming into the exchanges. And you can see here that the overall supply increased 74,000 Bitcoin. At the very bottom, it's got that white box across it. Sorry, when I took the screenshot, it was telling me my phone was out of memory. And so 74,000 Bitcoin came into the system. And when you actually look at Kraken specifically, they lost 27,000 Bitcoin, taking them down to 58,000 total. Now earlier, they were all the way down to like 54,000 or something even lower, and it showed that they had lost 35,000 Bitcoin or something along those lines. Meanwhile, look at Coinbase. They are up 74,000. Okay, so that's a big deal. So they basically increased their supply by like 10% because they were at 700,000. They went up to 781,000, right? So they increased their supply by 10%. So if the people at Coinbase are enlightened, like they're in on the scheme that Bitcoin's about to squeeze. Now, something that I've explained in the past, I'm going to explain it again. The market's rigged because basically Bitcoin is the dial that the market makers use to adjust the price of the S&P 500, because the Magnificent Seven and even the 7 other companies behind the Mag 7, like MicroStrategy is not in the Mag 7, but they're a big market cap, and they're called Strategy now. They got renamed. Their price, as well as many other companies, Tesla, Nvidia, all these different companies, AMD, these companies' prices are influenced heavily by Bitcoin price. Okay, so if Bitcoin goes up, their prices go up. If Bitcoin goes down, their prices go down. So it's all insider trading wonderland because we, the masses, don't buy and sell Bitcoin because the taxes when you buy and sell Bitcoin are horrendous. It's a property tax. So the elites, who basically like BlackRock, MicroStrategy, billionaires, so on and so forth, they basically got deals cut with the exchanges like Coinbase and Kraken and all these different exchanges, that if they buy and sell Bitcoin from each other and it stays on Coinbase's balance sheets, they don't have to pay these big super fees necessarily. Okay, so they've got the market completely rigged right now, and the average Joe isn't smart enough to see what's going on. Nobody explained this to me. I just figured it all out, right? So anyway, I was going back to look at other Kraken screenshots I took. Yeah, so here was like prior when they'd only lost 17,000. This is like the day before. They'd only lost 17,000. They were up at 87,000. So Kraken is being attacked, and if all of a sudden it's across the media that the Kraken exchange has been, what do you call it, ran dry, that will cause Bitcoin to fly. So they can completely insider trade the situation. All they have to withdraw is 60,000 Bitcoin from Kraken right now is where Kraken's at. And we already know they can withdraw 40,000, okay? So they're going to withdraw 60,000 Bitcoin from Kraken, and that's it. Kraken's out of Bitcoin. It'll make national news. So when that happens, there will be a squeeze on Bitcoin. Everybody will say, oh, I got to go buy Bitcoin, buy cryptocurrencies. That'll cause the sp500 to go up. So again, I think that tomorrow, if they really want to juke everybody, they'll have puts pay big first. And then after the puts pay big, then they'll turn it around and it'll go crazy in calls. Now, it could happen tomorrow, could happen on Monday, could happen on Tuesday. I don't know what day it's going to happen. I'm just telling you, they also need people to buy bonds. The banks went out of the bonds. The banks that are enlightened that there's about to be this big super inflation, they need the masses to buy the bonds. So they need you to think that we're going into a bear market. So I think that there's going to be a crash before the fly, okay? And I've been saying this all along. And this last week, there was a crash before the fly. So we're going to find out then tonight and tomorrow, again, if there's going to be a crash. I think there's going to be an even bigger crash before a really big fly. Because what they need is they need the masses to go into puts and shorts so that then when they turn it around, it's the masses getting short squeezed instead of the banks getting short squeezed, okay? So we've had basically 4 years of learning. The masses have learned that, oh, short squeezes are never going to happen again. It's not spooky to go short on things. They're going to put the masses into puts and shorts, and then they're going to switch it around and go crazy with everything. So that's my take on everything. Just like my magic gut says that you might see Harlan come back. If Harlan doesn't come back, then my theories stand that he needed to take a hike. And even if he does come back, hopefully these videos raise some eyebrows at General Motors, because they're like, shit, this is giving this guy a platform to talk about all this stuff. And now if I predict Harlan coming back, you know this is the fucking Corvette channel. Nobody else has a fucking clue what's going on compared to that Titans. All right? See ya.